Just 30% of the employees in America feel engaged in their work. That leaves 70% of the employed people unplugged from their duties. That's a staggering statistic. The workforce describes their employment as this: depleting, demoralizing experience, and in some obvious ways, it is getting worse. Increased competitiveness, leaner budgets, post-recessions, workforce just adds to the pressure. This was the rise of the digital technology, is perhaps the biggest influence, exposing us to unprecedented flood of information, requests that we feel compelled to read and respond all hours of all days. The expansion of regulations has tried to mend all that ails quality of care and quality of life in our increasingly data-driven society. A society where there shall be no negative outcomes. With the disappearance of the person-to-person communication and the critical thinking reduced to assessments, protocols, checklists, graphs that measure success and failure, I have to ask you the question, have we reached a tipping point? Now, I don't know how many of you have read the book by Malcolm Gladwell. It's called The Tipping Point. And he describes the tipping point as this. The tipping point is the moment of critical mass, the threshold, the boiling point. And I have to ask you again, have we reached that tipping point of evidence-based outcomes, unfunded mandate regulations, heaps of policy and procedures, colorful data supporting quality improvement graphs, and mounds of assessments and piles of double and triple documentation? Am I the only one that experienced that, or do we all experience that? Clearly, the way we are working isn't working. Increasingly, this experience is common, not just in middle management, not just in top executives, but entry-level employees. So why are we continuing to push this unrelenting virus to drain our profession of employees that are motivated by doing hands-on work, and they find themselves lifted up and filled when they get to deal with individuals and families and elders and children? These employees are those in every level of responsibility. My greatest day was when I could walk out of my office and take a resident to the bathroom, not to look at a graph to see how the outcome came. These stories that I'm going to tell you from now on are true. The names have been changed. Susie turned 60. She wanted to do something special for her birthday. She wanted to ride an elephant. I could not find an elephant in Brookings, South Dakota. But we found a camel. And we celebrated till the night she went to bed. But in the middle of that day, we took her out and she rode a camel on her 60th birthday. In that moment, when we got over the fear of, oh my God, she could fall off, the camel could spit at her, all of the things, the what ifs and whys and how comes, were put to rest. The employees on that day met physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual goal, and they left happy. Ida was 101. Her son, at 80 years old, she was crushed. He lost his driver's license. You know what that meant to her? He couldn't come and see her every day. She stopped eating. She started to cry a lot. She was devastated. So what did the system do? After so many hours and so many days in a decline, we had to do assessments and MDSs and protocols. At 101, what did she need? She needed a staff member to have time to plan how her son was going to take the public bus to come and see her. It is and continues to be, and it was then, that you go to nursing homes to die, you go to hospitals to get well and have babies. We must change that attitude, one mind at a time. We must be that critical mass that has reached a threshold, and we will tip the scales back towards the movement to a good life, all the way to the end.